Welcome back to Movie Summary. Today we are diving into a film called The Perfect Date. Brooke is a broke kid whose dream is to go to Yale for university. He is paid one day to come with a rich girl named Celia to her school dance night. There he lays his eyes on a beautiful girl named Shelby. After this, he decided to create with his best friend Murph an app where rich girl can book him as companion to go anywhere with him. One night Celia informs Brooke that her father knows the president of Yale, so she arranges a meeting with him. Brooke arrives at the meeting very nervous. The president asks him to tell him about himself. He starts by showing off his numbers. But when he says he doesn't party, the president doesn't seem to like that, realizing it's important to have fun. He even gets tired of the same pitch and wants to know the real Brooke. Brooke then shares his passion for bees, and what a coincidence, the president has the same passion. Both men start talking about bees. Minutes later, they come out all smiley and still discussing about bees. Celia looks at them all confused. He tells Brooke to bring him his application personally. He is in. After he leaves, he thanks Celia for her help. Minutes later, she gets mad at him as it turns out he is not a fan of bees. He found out the president was and lied that he was. But he is not done. He confronts her on another lie she said before to get what she wanted, and she gets mad, then leaves. The car ride back home is silent and awkward. Celia breaks it and realizes maybe he is right. Maybe she is an hypocrite, scared of showing people who she really is. That same night, he brings her to meet his best friend Murph over some dinner. She finds him so funny as he describes more anecdotes. After it, Brooke gets another booking for his companion services. He doesn't want to take it because he has plans with Murph. But Murph tells him to take it, and after Brooke leaves, he feels a little bit sad as he is losing his best friend. Minutes later, Celia drops Brooke at his place and reveals to him she finally is going on a date with her crush Franklin tonight. He wishes her good luck. The date arrives. Celia and Franklin are getting to know each. Frank worries because he thinks Brooke is her boyfriend and she plays as he was, as it is what they have been doing. But she adds that they have an open relationship. He continues by expressing it's obvious Brooke and her are made for each other. She comforts by letting him know they will breaking up very soon. Franklin then reveals to her that he is famous street graffiti artist, but she doesn't seem so excited. The next day at school, Brooke comes excited telling about his night out yesterday to Murph, so doesn't seem excited. He is salty that he spent his night alone and leaves. Later that day, Brooke calls Celia and is excited about their public breakup they planned. He also asks about her date with Franklin, but the poor girl says it was great. Unfortunately, it's obvious it wasn't. The big party is around the corner. Brooke picks up Celia at her place. She tries to get him to pay attention to her dress. He does, and both rehearse their breakup. Moments later, it's time to execute. Celia is with Franklin when Brooke arrives and makes a big scene in front of everyone, pretending to be mad he caught them together. His crush Shelby is watching. Brooke then goes a little too far, insulting Celia, and she slaps him for real, then storms out in tears. Brooke steps aside, texting her great performance, not realizing that slap was real. Shelby joins him like planned. She tries to console, saying that she saw it coming. Both then stare at each other and kiss passionately. Brooke has finally the girl of his dream. She even asks him to go to the school dance with her. He agrees. The next day, he is so excited to tell everything that happened to Murph. But he realizes someone else is working with him today. That guy informs him Murph switched shift for the rest of the year. He adds that Murph mentioned Brooke being selfish and only thinking about himself. Later that day, Brooke gets another booking, but this time it's old lady who just needed someone to talk to after her husband passed. The old lady gives him an advice on how to know if you are meant to be with one person. She tells him that every dialogue with them feels like symphony. After it, realizing Celia didn't text him back, he asks her if everything is okay, but she ignores it. On her side, the parents reminds her of the dance school tomorrow and she tells them she is going alone. The next day, Brooke finally arrives at Shelby's house to pick her up. She opens the door and he is mesmerized by her beauty. Once they get in the car, she realizes its smell. Moments later, they are sitting dinner, wish seemingly nothing to talk about. So they stare at each other in awkward. He decides to ask her about her future plans and he is having a hard time following what she is saying. She then seems shocked that he doesn't know what he will do in life. After dinner, they join the school dance. They notice Celia dancing. At this moment, a girl comes out and recognizes Brooke. She thanks him for the great time after booking him. He tries to escape, but Shelby asks what is she talking about. She then reveals that Brooke has a side hustle where girls pay him to go out with him. He takes her aside and explains everything, that he is not rich but a poor kid who wanted to impress her. Shelby is horrified and breaks up with him. He then looks at Celia and decides to join her. Both realize their dates aren't doing good. He offers her to dance, but she tells him, "I'm not your backup." The poor Brooke then goes home early. Even his dad notices it. He asks his son to share it with him, and Brooke reveals everything about the app. His father is really impressed his son did all of this to try to save some money to go to Yale. But Brooke had an issue pretending and lying to be on all of those dates. His father comforts him, saying to just be who is. Minutes later, Brooke is still trying to reach Murph, who isn't answering. He gets a booking request and for the first time declines. The next day at school, he finally bumps into Murph. They both talk and promises to each to do better. After school, Brooke decides to write a different essay about himself. The following day, Brooke meets with Celia at a coffee shop. He is happy she agreed to meet. He also reveals that he cancelled the app as he is more on the path of honesty now. He then reveals the big news: he rejected Yale and accepted UConn's offer, the university his dad always wanted him to go to. Celia is shocked because Yale was his dream. But for Brooke, if he has to pretend to go to Yale, that means he doesn't belong there. He stands up and leaves her letter. A letter in which he expresses how weeks ago he was the guy with an empty feeling of stuff like driving a nice car, dating the popular girl, going to the fanciest school. He has been a lot of people these past few weeks, but there was those little moments where he felt really himself, and that was when he was with Celia. She smiles reading that. That night, Brooke receives another booking but declines, but it keeps popping up as he keeps declining it. Someone then knocks on the door, and it's Celia. She apologizes for slapping him. She is ready for their date. Brooke is surprised, realizing she was the one just trying to book minutes ago. They then arrive at the diner where Brooke works. It's all decorated. Murph is there with his crush. Brooke is speechless. Murph then reveals to him he wants to be his roommate because he is going to UConn next year too. Brooke is happy. He then comes back to Celia, who informs him she is giving him another chance. He then kisses her many times and wants to dance. The movie ends with all four dancing in this diner in the middle of nowhere. What a great movie. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and check out other movie summaries we have on our channel.